is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2015, 2 p.m. The Committee on Higher Education, Culture, Public Library, and Women's Affairs is holding this public hearing on the appointment of Ms. April L. Flores to be a member of KGTF PBS Board of Trustees. Notices of this public hearing was submitted since July 13th and July 19th, 2015. And that if there's anyone who would like to submit testimonies, you can address it to my office at speaker@judy1pat.com, or you can fax it to us at 472-3589, or you may deliver it here or have it mailed here to 155 Hessler Place, Agatna, Guam, 96910. So I'd like to thank, of course, my colleague, Senator Tony Ada, for joining me this afternoon. And we have two individuals then who would like to provide testimony. I have Mr. Darrell Taggarty, and if you please, you may come to the front, and Kathleen Uggan. So when you give your testimony, just please state your name and who you represent, an organization or yourself, and if you are here in support of the nominee. Okay, so Mr. Taggarty.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for hearing the nomination, Governor's nomination of April Flores to serve as a member of the PBS Guam Board of Trustees. We're very happy to have an additional name put forward to the legislature because we're currently without a quorum, and I'm very happy that it is Ms. Flores' name again coming before you for consideration. Her appointment to the board makes 4, which would give us a quorum. She also brings a computer background and also corporate experience in management level corporate experience to the board. It's a good mix of composition for the board, and I look forward to working with her on the issues that face PBS Guam. And so I urge your favorable consideration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taggarty, for your testimony. It's important that we hear from management, of course, because you would know best in terms of, the individuals that you would like to be able to, be in the Board of Trustees as, you move forward in all your plans. So thank you very much for being here. Ms. Kathleen Uggan.
Hafide, good afternoon. I also come here as board chair and support the nominee, April Flores, to our board because, like Mr. Taggarty had mentioned, we have been lacking a quorum. We have 3 members, and so her appointment would make our ability to further PBS's goals, more timely. So I encourage you to vote for her nomination as soon as possible. And with that, I did read, I do not know her personally, Ms. Flores, so I don't have a vested interest in her appointment, but upon reading her background, I also too support Darrell and concur that she has a wealth of knowledge that will enhance the abilities of the GM to manage operations at the TV station, because she has had a lot of experience in her organization, which is GTA, and a lot of, I don't know if she's going to come up here, but a very long list of experience and a lot of knowledge that she can bring to enhance operations. So.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, you have any comments or questions? Okay.
Mr. Taggedy, Ms. Hogan, I just have a question. How many more members are lacking to complement the whole board?
The board consists of 7 members, so we need 4 for a quorum. We currently have 3. There was a resignation in May of last year that was totally unexpected. And then the legislature did consider Ms. Flores last year, but the nomination did not come to the floor for a vote. And we don't know why, but for whatever reason, we're happy that the governor put her name forward again for this term of the legislature.
And did you submit any other additional names to the governor for consideration for
Yes.
additional board members?
Yes, there are 2 other names. One has been, her packet's been completed. It's down here to the legislature, but she's off island and could not attend. She could not be put on the schedule for this hearing. And then there's another one whose packet is not yet complete, and so it hasn't been transmitted by the governor.
And then you still have one more vacancy on the board, right, for that 7th person?
Yes,
Yes.
but we have been working with the chief of staff, Mr. Calvo, Mark Calvo, and he is aware of the situation, and so he has assured us that there will be more nominees.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, well, thank you. I mean, I know it, and you're saying last year, though, that was a separate committee chair, and it was sometime in December when we were closing out a lot of stuff, so it probably was just somehow it fell through the cracks, but we're happy to be able to, hold this public hearing then on your behalf.
Yes.
So I want to thank both of you very much for coming and
Thank you.
providing support as well. Thank you. So I'm going to call April Flores then to the table, and we can proceed then with your testimony.
Good afternoon, Senators. Thank you for offering me the opportunity to present myself as an applicant for the KGTF PBS board. I look forward to joining this board because PBS was an integral part of my childhood since I moved here from the Philippines. Its content and programming has always been educational and informative, and I'd like to give back to the island by ensuring future generations have access to such content. I currently don't have much experience being part of a board, but I'm a fast learner and am a team player. I do have extensive experience in product development, which requires having skills in forecasting, planning, project management, and budgeting. So I think having these qualities will help me be a contributing member of the board.
Thank you very much. I know many times, you're right, you would think that you would need to have some kind of background, and but the important thing is that so long as you're willing to take the position, that you're willing to learn, to read about their goals, their missions, their objectives, and that you be part of the whole team, to take, of course, KGTF PBS, one step, further. That's what really, I think, is very important. The background that you provided, at least coming from the private sector, is a plus, I would think, because although it's a public, program, is that at the same time they're acting almost like a private, entity as well, and it's important to always bring, that perspective, of course, to the table. And so, And I was reading, of course, your background, like you said, you've indicated, on product development, internet products, wireless systems engineer. I mean, I know you're not going to be one of those who are going to be hands-on, but I'm sure, like you say, you're a quick learner, and that you should be able to catch on, I think, pretty fast. And you've got very supportive, a chair and a manager, so I think you'll be, well suited, of course, in serving.
Thank you.
Thank you for accepting the position to be, appointed to this position, and we're hoping that as soon as we get the others, that we'll try to put them through right away. We won't be going into session until August, and so it's August is when we will report this out, report out your nomination, then for placement on the, on the agenda, then for confirmation.
Thank you.
Senator, do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Flores, thank you once again for stepping up to the plate to be a member of the KGTF team. I'm glad you weren't discouraged from the first time that you submitted your packet into then, and I know that you'll be able to become one of the contributing board members, being that now the pressure is on you to make the quorum. So it's a lot of pressure.
It'll be a good challenge and learning experience.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. But you have my full support, and you have my vote, and I will ask the Madam Chair to move your confirmation forward onto our next session agenda. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Can I just ask one question maybe of you, Darryl, is that your board meetings, because I know she's coming from the private sector, and when you have your board meetings, it would not conflict then to somehow hurt her position as well as she continue and she volunteers to participate in your meetings.
Well, I don't mind answering on behalf of the chair, but
the
actually
chair,
the chair,
I'm so sorry. You're the one that calls the meeting. You're right. I'm so sorry. Please, Kathleen, come on up.
We accommodate. Our board has been
Yeah, on the mic so that we can.
For our members, we've accommodated schedules, work schedules, school schedule, and so we work around what our primary duties or work is. And I think, we'll continue to do it that way and not hinder anybody's first duty. Like, for example, I'm a teacher full-time, so the afternoons, the evenings are better suited. And you did bring the GM up, and he's very well a part of our board meetings, too. And we've done it in the evenings, had our meetings in the evenings, so I don't see that as being an issue, and we'll be very respectful.
How frequent is your meeting?
We were going about once a month.
Okay. All right, so it's not burdensome then to any of the board members.
And we've been communicating openly, the 3 board members, with the GM through this period, looking for nominations, checking when, and keeping updated.
Was there any major decisions that you needed to make then because you didn't have a quorum that you're unable to move forward?
The bringing the whole physical plant of PBS Guam into up to current standards these are strategic decisions that have to do with budget and fundraising and staffing and changes, possibly even changes to the law. And none of these could really be brought up as long as we had no quorum, because no decision could be made. It hasn't been fatal up to, over the past year, but we have lost a good year of march on this. Whether we, I hope it hasn't put us back too far, but technology is moving forward very, very quickly. When 4G service, LTE service, rolled out on Guam, it put the whole broadcasting industry back in the back seat for future growth. And so we're looking to, the whole industry is looking at new direction, new plant, new mission, maintaining the best of what we've been doing, expanding into broadband delivery service, using the cloud to deliver video on demand, and bringing our physical plant up. One of the decisions the board did make before we lost that 4th member last year was to approve a $70,000 purchase of new camera equipment and editing equipment, and it's been slow going getting the staff to be comfortable using it, but it is absolutely necessary in order to have a current standard products coming out of our local productions. And actually, we do have the best cameras on the island and the best trained staff of any video house on this island. And so we have cameras that are capable of shooting 4K. And we're just out beating the bushes for contracts and to make this stuff pay off. But the rest of our physical plant needs attention too. And every time I am proposing an expenditure over $1,000, I need the board's approval. We haven't had a board quorum. Legally, I just need a signature. And so I inform the board members, this is what I'm facing. Please understand what I'm trying to do here, and if you concur, then please give me something back in writing, because that has to be on file, or else it'll be an audit violation. It'd be a violation of our procedures. And so the board, the 3 remaining board members, have been very engaged this whole time with what needed to be done. But with the 4th member and more members, we'll be able to set strategy, direction, and go through with what needs to be done in a strategic manner.
Okay. Well, I'm glad then that we're able to have your public hearing. We will definitely get your nomination out, your packet ready. And as soon as you hear who the others are, just communicate with my staff, and we'll set up a meeting as soon as it gets referred to my committee. Because we definitely do not want to hamper your operations. I know how critical it is, and you're right. You got to keep up with the times, otherwise, it will push you further back. I want to thank all of you for coming and supporting the nominee. And in April, I want to thank you as well for accepting the nomination. And I'm sure that they look forward to having you on board. So,
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. So this concludes then our public hearing for you. However, to the public, if there's anyone who would like to submit any comments and additional testimonies, that you can either fax it to my office, email it to my office, or personally walk it down to the legislature. And we have time to put everything together. So if anyone still wants to submit anything, then of course you still have some time. Okay. So thank you very much.
You.
This then is adjourned. It's at about 2:25. Thank you very much.